The time is now 5:52 on this Tuesday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
Governor Tim Walz will travel to Bemidji today to get a first-hand look at the major damage caused by Saturday morning storms. Beltrami County and the city of Bemidji are in a state of emergency after the storm, packing winds of 120 miles an hour, devastated the area. At this hour, thousands of people are still going on day 5 without power. The winds tore off roofs and took down thousands of trees, so many that most roads were impassable for much of Saturday.
Meanwhile, in Aiken County, Monday morning storms knocked out power for thousands and had tree limbs thrown across roadways and front yards. Here's the scene yesterday in McGregor following the storms. Lake Country Power reported more than 4,000 homes without electricity. Crews were out working all day Monday to get the lights back on. At last check, nearly 400 Lake Country members were still in the dark. We're told some near Big Sandy Lake may still be without power into this morning. In the meantime, they're asking customers to be patient, to allow crews to work, and if you do see a downed line, be careful.
There was some local government drama last night in Rice Lake, just north of Duluth. Months after a heated and divisive mayoral race, former city councilor Daryl Johnson, who lost that race by just 53 votes, is back in City Hall. Johnson was appointed to an open council seat during a tense meeting where 6 candidates expressed interest, but there was a back and forth between Johnson and Mayor Suzanne Herstad, with members of the public even shouting from the audience. Now, the appointment is temporary, as Johnson will only serve for 1.5 years until the next election. Councilors will have a trial period before it is up to voters.
A jury trial begins in Cook County today over proceeds from a plot of land formerly owned by a polygamous sect leader and his family. This is the land near Grand Marais, previously owned by Seth Jeffs, who is the brother of Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs is serving a life sentence for child sexual assault. Seth Jeffs is also a convicted felon. After community concern about plans for the property, the Jeffs officially sold the land several years ago. A woman named Alyssa Wall is now suing the Jeffs, claiming she should get the proceeds from that land sale. That's because she, as a former member of what she described as the Jeffs' cults, that was forced to marry her cousin. Wall previously won a $10 million lawsuit against Warren Jeffs, but according to court records, has not collected that money.
Now, local law agencies are warning Northlanders about a new scam. According to authorities, the scammer pretends to represent a collection agency. The scammer might even know your name, social security number, address, and details about cars you've owned. The number could also appear to be from a local area code. Now, if this happens to you, do not provide any personal or financial information. Authorities say to hang up and report the incident to the Federal Trade Commission and your local State Department.
And a huge thank you to everyone who gave the gift of life on day 1 of our blood drive with Memorial Blood Centers. The drive began Monday at PRB Resorts Ballroom in Duluth. Memorial Blood Centers provides life-saving blood units and blood products to hospitals and other organizations. All donations made locally benefit people in our region, and this time of year, the need tends to be greatest. Yesterday, 155 people stopped by PRB to donate. The drive continues today at the same location from 9 to 5. There are still 70 more donors needed. You can sign up at northernnewsnow.com.